In this video, I'm going to show you how to implement dynamic, personalized ads in your game. This means being able to change where the ads are shown in the game, how much the player gets rewarded for watching an ad, and how many ads they can see per session. We're going to use data-led decisions to determine when to show an ad and when to show an in-app purchase promotion. You'll also see how to make these changes remotely without needing to patch and resubmit your game each time you change it. You'll also see how we can use A/B tests to test different configurations and personalize the ad strategy for different player segments. We're going to use deltaDNA event-triggered campaigns to remotely control your ads, and we'll use Unity ads to demonstrate this in a simple game. The great thing is, this is really simple. You only need to change a few lines of code to get this up and running. So, what does it look like? So if you're implementing ads in your game anyway, there are a couple of lines of code that are going to be really crucial. They are, one, to show an ad to the player at the appropriate point in time. So in this case, in the Unity documentation, it's showing us when the ad is ready, make an advertisement show call to the SDK. And the other important line of code is when the player has finished watching the ad, then we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to gift them some currency. So essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to tweak these two areas of code and essentially move this command. So instead of this command being hardwired to a specific place in the game, we're going to put it under the control of the deltaDNA event-triggered campaign system. The way we do that, in our code, we've set up a couple of callbacks that handle all data coming back from deltaDNA event-triggered campaigns. One of the callbacks is working with pop-up image messages. The other one is working with any game parameters that are sent remotely from the deltaDNA campaign system. And essentially what we're going to do is inside this game parameter handler, we're going to put our command to show the ad. So here we go, inside my game parameter handler, here's the command to show an ad. So we simply moved this one line of code, and around it we've wrapped a little bit of stuff to say, if you see a command coming down, a parameter called add show with a value of 1, that's when you should show an ad. And if you also see a game parameter come down with an add reward value, then let's store that value away and we'll use that as the reward to give the player for watching an ad. And the other piece of the code is inside those listeners. This is actually pretty much exactly what they had in the Unity example code, but once the player has finished watching the ad, if the result is it's finished, we're going to at that point gift the player some currency using that reward value that we captured up here. We've also got something in here looking for a real currency amount and using that to gift the player some currency. We'll touch on that, what that's for, a little further on. But essentially that's all the code changes you need. Literally just a few lines of code, and all we've done is we've moved them around a little bit so they're now being triggered from within the deltaDNA event-triggered campaign callback system. So the next piece of the equation is to go to deltaDNA and actually set up these game parameters that we're going to send down to the game and the campaigns to determine when to send them. So inside deltaDNA, in the engage actions section, you can see we've already set up some actions. These are all game parameter actions, and the two that we're interested in at the moment are these two here. One of them is going to issue a command to show a rewarded ad for 50 coins, the other one for 100. And the way they do that, they're simply sending down two game parameters, add show 1, add reward value 50, and that corresponds with what we've got in our code here, add show 1 and add reward value. The other game parameter, the 100 coin one, the only difference is this add reward value has got 100 in it. So that's the game parameter actions set up. Now we want to set up the campaigns to use those and send them to the game. So the campaign is essentially going to determine who gets to see these and when they get to see them. And we're going to, let me just show you how this one's set up. So we've given our campaign a name and a description. It's set just to start when we kick it off. Players, this is who we're going to target this campaign at, and in this particular case we're just going to target everybody, all players. The trigger point, this is when we want to show them an ad. So we're going to use our mission failed event. So every time the player fails a mission, potentially we're going to be showing them an ad. The action, this is what action we want to take when the event is triggered. So this is where we've got our A/B test up and running. We've set up two different groups here. One of them is getting our 50 coin rewarded ad. The other one is getting ad show with 100 coin reward value. And that's our A/B test, as easy as that. We could add further groups, but at the moment it's just a 50-50 split between A and B. One of the other things we've done in here that's quite fun, with the group A, they're going to get this every time the player fails a mission. But with group B, we've put in an additional condition here that says on every second trigger with no limit. So group A are going to get 50 coins every time they fail a mission. Group B are going to get 100 coins every second time they fail a mission. And that means we can A/B test and see, is there a difference in the retention or the monetization from these slightly different strategies. The two other tabs here, conversion event, we haven't bothered setting one of those for this test because we're just going to run the test, watch the results, and then we can pause it, change it, do whatever we want. And the confirmation page really just is showing us all the settings we've set up, checking that, asking us to confirm that that's all correct. So we can see this is targeting the entire audience on the mission failed event. One group is getting 50 coins, the other group is getting 100 coins every second trigger. We can now start that up by hitting the publish or the test buttons. So that's how you set up the campaign. We have another campaign up and running as well. Let's have a look at the first one in action, and then I'll show you the other one running too. So here's our little game. Let's start it off, and we're purposely going to fail our mission. So let's just purposely crash into the wall. First time we crash, first time we fail a mission, nothing happens. Second time we fail a mission, there's our rewarded ad. And we can see in the debug console, we had an ad show with a value of 1 and an ad reward with a value of 100. When we close the ad, we get our coins and our balance has been incremented by 100 coins. Do that again. One mission fail, two mission fails. So every second fail, we're getting our 100 coin rewards. So that was the first campaign. The other campaign we've got configured does something slightly different. So this other one is set up to either encourage us to make an in-app purchase or to watch an ad, depending who we are. And the way it's set up, we've set up two different in-game actions, but this time we've used pop-up image messages. So the pop-up image message, the first one, let's look at this one, is going to encourage us to watch a video ad. And we've uploaded a background graphic and a button graphic. When the button graphic is clicked, it's going to trigger this action called watch video, and if the background is clicked, it's just going to dismiss the pop-up image. And there are two parameters down the bottom: ad show equals 1, ad reward is 200. Looks quite familiar. The other image pop-up is going to encourage us to buy some coins instead. And this one, the background, you click on it, dismisses the image. The button is now going to direct us to the Play Store if we click it. And the game parameter in this case is a real currency amount, 1,000. In reality, you wouldn't be gifting currency on pressing a button. You would actually be using the return values from your in-app purchase transaction to gift currencies. But just because this is a demo, we'll just stick it on a button so you can see how it works. Because the important bit is how you set up the campaigns. The other thing we've done here, we've actually set up two campaigns in this case, and both are going to be triggered when the player runs out of coins, and we're going to use the segmentation to determine which of these two campaigns a player sees. So we've already gone ahead in the manage segments area and defined two segments for new players and established players. And in this case, they're actually just using a very similar rule. They're saying the first game session for established players was more than 3 days ago, and for new players, the first game session was less than 3 days ago. So when we come to build that out in a campaign, let's just take a look at the established players one. I just duplicate this. We've given it a name and a description. This time, the player segment, we have chosen a segment. So we've used the established player segment for this one. The trigger point is when the player has run out of coins. The action we're going to perform is, there is just one group here, watch the video for 200 coins, no conversion event, confirmation page. Established players, out of coins, watch video. And the other one, just so you can see, is almost identical. This one targets the new players, triggers on the out of coins, and the action is buy some coins. Conversion. This one does have a conversion event on it actually. This one has a transaction event as the conversion event. And the confirmation, there we go. New players, out of coins, buy some coins, and then convert on transaction. So let's see how that looks in action. This time I'm going to start my game. But I'm going to have to pause it and force it to believe I don't have enough money for this next level. So let's change that and say I've only got 5 coins left. If I then unpause, so the minute I start the game now, it's going to do something. If I hit the start button, 5 coins, start, there we go. So it's telling me, oh, I need to watch a video, I don't have enough coins. So let's watch the video. It's showing me the video now, and there's my ad reward value for 200 coins, ad show 1, close the ad, and there's my coins getting gifted to me. I had obviously fallen into the established player segment. If I had been a new player, it would have shown me a different pop-up and whisked me off to the Play Store to try and buy some currency. So that's how you can use event trigger campaigns to trigger game parameters to to show ads at specific points in your game. And simply by coming back to the deltaDNA interface, I can modify these campaigns, create new campaigns, and essentially I have completely dynamic placement of my ads, dynamic rewards, and player segmentation. And because it's all within deltaDNA, I can drill into the campaigns and actually look at the results and the performance of various campaigns. I can use the analysis tools to dig much deeper and see what the long-term monetization or retention statistics look like for the various campaigns I've been running. So that's how you use deltaDNA event trigger campaigns to liberate your rewarded ads and make them truly dynamic. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to find out more, go over to our GitHub repository, follow the links in the description. You'll find far more details on how to set this up, and you'll also get access to the code to download and run this code sample yourself. So thanks for watching. Goodbye.